This is all that's left of one of the largest rivers in the world, the River Negro. The river, which skirts the city of Manaus, was only 12 meters deep at the end of October, its lowest level in 121 years. The Amazon is experiencing a historic drought caused by global warming and the El Niño climate pattern. A few miles from Manaus, Lake Aleixo has completely dried up, leaving a vast, muddy field.
This place was full of water. It was a lake 15 meters deep.
Fishing is Edson Rocha's livelihood, but since the end of September, there's no longer any work for him here, and he has to walk through mud to get to the River Negro to catch just a few fish. His house no longer floats, and his boat is stuck in the mud.
These are the fish we managed to catch, but only to feed ourselves. We mix with a bit of rice and beans.
According to the Amazonas state government, more than 100,000 fishermen like Edson have been affected.
It's so sad, because fishing is our livelihood. Seeing all this drought, I can only look at the landscape and do nothing.
Around 300 miles from Manaus in Tefé, the crisis is a humanitarian one. This tributary of the River Amazon, the biggest in the world, has become a desert in places. More than 78 local communities have been cut off. The day we filmed, the port was in turmoil. This boat was requisitioned to bring food and drinking water to more than 4,000 inhabitants in remote areas.
You have to install a tap on this side and another on the other side.
Civil security officials installed this device on the boat. It's a water purifier, essential to the village's survival.
It will collect and purify dirty water from the Solimões River because it's difficult bringing drinking water to the communities. The water became so hot during the heat wave that the fish died on the surface. The water isn't fit to drink and has a horrible smell in some places.
To protect locals from malnutrition, 1,200 food parcels are also on board.
Tell everyone to go to the front of the boat. We have a difficult stretch ahead.
The maneuver is tricky. Every day the water level drops, making navigation difficult. It'll take 5 hours for civil security to get to the rendezvous. That's 3 hours longer than usual. Under a blistering sun, residents from 25 villages arrive at this sandbank on foot or by boat. Rosineide Vasquez has been waiting for weeks for this delivery.
Take this bag and give it to him.
As the indigenous chief of the Kokama people, she's responsible for collecting water and food for her community.
We're currently in a very critical situation. There are no wells or treated water in our village, so we have to drink water from the river. There have been cases of diarrhea, vomiting, even fever, but we have no choice. We either drink the water from the river or we die of thirst.
The drought affects the daily lives of more than 600,000 people in the state of Amazonas. It's an emergency that goes beyond the local government's capacity.
Our state alone cannot carry out all of the logistics. Our planes cannot transport as many food parcels as a Brazilian Air Force plane. There are places where a food parcel, which normally costs around 50 euros, are selling for almost 500 euros. This is the reality in the Amazon.
The Brazilian army has since distributed more than 10,000 food parcels. The federal government has committed to providing another 50,000. It's a health emergency and an environmental one too, because this drought endangers biodiversity in the Amazon. Since the beginning of October, the Tefé River has been the scene of a tragedy. Thousands of fish and nearly 200 freshwater cetaceans have died, including the pink dolphin, an emblem of the Amazon. This has never happened before, according to these teams who've been working to preserve these mammals for 30 years.
Today we're monitoring the groups of dolphins that tend to feed here. We're trying to isolate this area because we've detected very high water temperatures, over 39 degrees. We've concluded that this area represents a great risk for local wildlife.
With the help of local fishermen, scientists built this barrier. This is the last chance of survival for the dolphins, now isolated in a cooler part of the lake.
Tell me, how many animals have you seen here?
We are at observation post number 2. I saw 2 grey dolphins and 3 pink dolphins with a baby.
But this unprecedented environmental disaster is only the tip of the iceberg.
The Amazon regulates the entire planet's climate. If we see these changes here, it means we are experiencing climate change around the world.
The situation in the Amazon is highly unlikely to improve in the coming weeks. The rainy season isn't expected until December, more than a month late. And scientists expect the influence of El Niño to disrupt the climate until June 2024.